The entry into gardening can be a little bit overwhelming, but that's where container gardening comes in. It is the fastest way to start a garden, but there's some vegetables and fruits that like to grow in containers versus some that don't. So let's go through the top 10 plants that want to grow in a container for your edible garden. We're going to start off with probably my favorite one, which is going to be tomatoes. There are a few different styles of tomatoes that are going to do better in a container than others. So what I have here is an indeterminate dwarf or patio tomato. This is a determinate dwarf patio tomato. And this right here is an indeterminate tomato. Now the biggest thing to take away from this is indeterminates versus determinates. Indeterminates don't do as well in containers. They do grow. Don't get me wrong, I've been growing an indeterminate all winter long. It's not really winter anymore, it's spring now, but I was growing it all through the winter, and that was what was giving us our tomatoes for the year because everything froze in the garden. But the determinants or the dwarf or the patio styles are gonna do better. Now, not just any dwarf or not just any determinate. Look for bush styles, look for like I said, dwarfs. Look for patio style tomatoes. That's what these two are. One's an indeterminate, which means it's going to continue to grow, but it grows in this bush style habit, so it doesn't get long and like kind of gangly and skinny over here. And this one is a determinate. It's probably not going to get much taller than this. This is what's considered a micro dwarf. These are what's best for containers. And when you're looking for a container, this is too small. I don't know if you can see that in the frame very well. It's like this big. It's super tiny. Whereas this one is a little bit bigger. You're looking for 5 gallons minimum. If you're going with an indeterminate, I would definitely lean into the 10-gallon range. But this one right here is in a 2-gallon, and this is a 5-gallon, so we're good there. But you're always going to get better productivity. You'll have to water less. You'll have to fertilize less. The bigger the pot you get and the smaller the plant you get. That's why I really like these micro dwarf tomatoes. And you can find micro dwarfs and you can find dwarfs and determinate tomatoes in different styles, but the cherry tomatoes are going to probably produce more. The next one's going to be strawberries. This is our first fruit on the list, and strawberries grow really well in containers. I have them in this vertical container right here, and it's because they have small root systems. So one thing to note is that the smaller the plant is on top, you probably have an equal amount of roots on the bottom. Strawberry plants are pretty small. They're really compact, and when you pull up their root systems, it's about the same. They're pretty small. So when you find a small plant at its mature size, like this is a fig, this is very big, but it's not at its mature size yet. A mature sized fig can get like 20 feet tall. So a mature sized strawberry is really always just that small. They sometimes get a little bit bushier, but not by much. So we can grow them in smaller containers. This isn't even the biggest vertical container. This is only like a 6-inch depth vertical container. The next one on the list is going to be lettuce. And please excuse the way my lettuce looks right now. We're in Florida. It's getting hot. It's coming out of season. But one thing I would recommend if you're going to grow lettuce in a container is, number one, aim for loose leaf lettuces instead of heading lettuces. Now you can grow heading lettuces, but you're going to want a nice deep container and you're going to want a little bit larger of a container. When it comes to loose leaf lettuce, you don't need as big because the root system doesn't get as large. So, and you can do like the cut and come again method very, very easily. You don't have to worry about bolting like I do down here. There's just a lot of reasons why it's actually a good choice for lots of environments, including a container garden. The next one's gonna be carrots, and I think this might surprise some folks. But carrots actually have turned out to be a really good vegetable for me to grow in a container. Look at that. Who'd have thought, right? Now you're not gonna grow super, super long carrots in a container. I mean, this is a 12-inch container, and I was able to get a cute little sized carrot. There are varieties that you can grow, like the short and sweets or the minis or something like that, where they're going to grow a lot easier in a container. This one is probably hitting its max. It might get a little bit wider, but they're not going to get super long because the whole root of the carrot, you can see, is almost touching down here. Once it hits something, it's going to stop. So really think about either a very deep container or a shorter variety of carrot so that it can get as wide and large as possible while maybe not getting quite as long. The next one on the list is going to be blueberries, and this is one that I actually will not grow in the ground. I only grow blueberries in containers, and it's really one of my only plants that I treat like this. And it's because blueberries have a very certain type of soil that they need, and they need an acidic soil, somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5. Here in Florida, in my area, like our soil stays more alkaline. So it sits more in like the 6.5 to 7.5 range. They hate that. They don't do well in the ground here. So I always keep mine in containers and they grow very well. Basically, I use soil acidifiers, coffee grind, peat moss, pine needles, pine shavings, those kinds of things. If you have a group of pine trees, you could potentially grow these around the pine trees because the soil tends to be more acidic near those. But I recommend containers because you can really hold on and control the acidity of the soil and keep these guys happy. The next one on the list is green beans. And kind of like the blueberries, green beans do need a little bit of something special in the soil, which is inoculant. Now, of course, you can put inoculant in raised beds, in-ground beds, but it's especially important to use inoculant when you're growing them in containers. And green beans grow really well in containers. They have a small footprint, especially if you're going with a bush style, not the vining style so much, but the bush style. You could technically grow a vining style as long as you gave it some sort of trellis. And be aware that they vine and they are vining plants very aggressively. So you have to have a very elaborate trellising system or maybe like a chain link fence or something like that to let them really run and scatter. But the root system of them are kind of spindly and small, so they can be in a container, no problem. But a lot of potting soils and stuff don't have inoculant in them, which is something that helps the green beans convert nitrogen. It's a bacteria that naturally lives in the soil. When you get bagged soil, it doesn't naturally live in that. So make sure that if you are going to do green beans in a container that you use inoculant. One that might surprise you growing in a container is going to be potatoes, and not just white potatoes, but sweet potatoes. I catch a lot of flack on my social media for actually showing growing sweet potatoes in containers, but they do well. Now, let me preface that. Whether you're growing white potatoes or sweet potatoes in a container versus in a raised bed or in the ground, you are going to get smaller potatoes or tubers. And you probably are going to get a little bit less because they do like to spread. And if you don't have a large enough container and it's not holding enough water and it's not holding enough nutrients, they get a little bit diva-like. So just be healthy expectations that your potatoes might be a little bit smaller. When it comes to sweet potatoes, that is definitely the case. They will be smaller. They'll be a little skinnier, but you just get just as many. And I love growing sweet potatoes in a vertical container because it takes up 2 square feet as compared to growing them in a bed that takes up 32 square feet for the same amount of potatoes in terms of poundage or weight, not necessarily in terms of like the size of the potatoes. You're definitely going to get bigger sweet potatoes in the ground or a raised bed. Same kind of holds true with white potatoes. I call them white potatoes, Irish potatoes, red potatoes as well, you know, the pink ones, whatever color. But the Irish potatoes, which is a different family from the sweet potatoes, but they kind of grow similarly. So with those, you probably will end up with like smaller potatoes. You're not going to get the big russet baking potatoes unless you have a large enough container. Next one on our list is going to be fruit trees. And this one might surprise you, but I grow a lot of fruit trees in containers. This is a mandarin, a sugar bell mandarin. I have a red jaboticaba. I have a Myers lemon. I have star fruit. I've got mangoes. I've got jujubes, plums. I grow all kinds of fruit in containers. The biggest thing to think about when you're growing fruit in containers is that they need a certain size container. Really big. Like this one is the smallest I'd go with, and it's probably about a 20 gallon, but I really like the Vigo 30 gallon ones as well. Those you can move around more easily. And for somebody like me where I'm struggling a little bit more as I get older with being able to move these pots around, especially when it's going to be cold or we're going to get a hurricane. Having them in the Vigo pots has really helped me. Now they are expensive, I'm gonna warn you right now. They're not cheap. I just kind of like, as I save enough money in the garden, I get one of the bigger containers. You can get like these like half barrels. I get those from Home Depot or Lowe's, and they are better price-wise, but you do have to kind of move them around. And if you want to learn more about growing fruit in containers or just growing fruit in Florida in general, make sure to check out my book, brand new, The Florida Fruit Garden. You can find it on my website at homegrownfloridagarden.com. I put in here which ones grow well in containers, how to grow them in containers, how to grow them just in Florida soil. So everything you wanted to know about growing them, I have an index right here that shows like the different fruit trees that grow in what areas and how to grow them. And then I have a lot of chapters on if you want like a citrus garden, if you want a orchard that has more high producers, if you want fast producers, if you want a kid's garden. I absolutely loved writing this book and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Another plant that grows really well in containers is going to be flowers. I know some flowers are edible, most are not, right? But flowers help an edible garden in a lot of ways. It brings in pollinators. It can act as a trap plant for pests. It can act as a deterrent for pests like root knot nematodes. Like marigolds help with root knot nematodes. Borage brings in bees. Zinnias bring in butterflies. Like it's really, really cool. And you definitely don't want to sleep on this. You want to start some flowers. Now there's different kinds of flowers and I really do focus one more than the other in a container. When it comes to annual flowers, ones that are going to grow for a season and then they're done, maybe put off their seeds, whatever. I usually grow those in the ground or in a bed because it just feels like they're taking up a space for something that in a container that maybe has a longer lifespan. So when I grow them in containers, I grow them in, first off, 12-inch containers, deeper containers, and I grow perennial flowers. I honestly don't even remember what this one is called. I got a pack at Home Depot. I don't know, but they have done really well in the containers. This is damaged from the winter that we had. They're just now starting to come back. I got to trim it back. But they have, the foliage did really, really well. I wish I could remember. If you guys know what kind of flower this is, definitely head down to the comments and let me know because I really want to get more and I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, flowers are a really great option. You can grow annuals in a container. It's just my personal preference that I feel like they just go better in the ground because they have such a short lifespan. But I feel like perennials deserve a space that's a little more permanent. The last one isn't going to come as a surprise, but it's going to be herbs. Number one plant to grow in the garden, not just for size, but also for like expense. That's my rosemary plant. It has been in that pot for 2 years, I think. This last winter, I decided that I didn't really want it anymore and I was going to start a new one. So I took a cutting and I put it somewhere in here, somewhere. And then I just stopped watering that one. That was 6 months ago. I have never watered it. I haven't watered it in 6 months. I haven't fed it. I haven't done anything. So if you want an additional video on rosemary, I can do that. But it's basically like neglect it and forget all about it. And it grows in this little tight container. It loves it. But there's all different kinds of things, right? This is my oregano. I have a Vicks Vapor Rub plant. I have mint. Down at the bottom there, I have some chives, some garlic chives. And you can grow a lot more. You can grow parsley, you can grow cilantro, basil's really popular, and you can grow annuals or perennials, and I kind of mix them. When it comes to my vertical containers, I almost exclusively grow perennials in here because I'm going to protect these, and I don't like a lot of open spots. That's just a personal thing, but when I have open spots, I like throw something like this, which is a beet or the lettuces. I got some radishes going to seed up there. I would prefer this whole thing be just in perennial herbs. It's my own personal preference to not wanting to grow annual herbs in this. I kind of just throw them in the garden and I use them as a companion plant around some of my vegetables in the raised beds. I like to keep this whole green stalk as herbs, but I had some die out this last year, so I am going to need to replace them. Sounds like we need a trip to Home Depot to pick up a few perennial herbs as plants. I could start them as seeds, but I just find like it's like a $3 to $5 plant and it's going to live for years. So for me, it's worth the investment, but you could definitely start with seeds. But that's what makes them number one. Make sure to get a nice deep container, at least 12 inches. More would be even better. I think this one is probably closer to 18 inches, and this is the one that I would recommend for most herbs if you don't have like a vertical container. Now let's talk about that. What are the different kind of containers you have? Well, you saw these garden pots that I have. I really like those, but you are having to like lift and move and stuff like that. So that kind of becomes a pain for some of us. Then you have these guys, vertical containers. This is a green stalk. And they come in two types, the original, which is about 12 inches, and then the leaf, which is about 6 inches. So the leaf is really only good for things like lettuce, radishes, and strawberries, maybe green beans. But the original is really good for perennial herbs or any kind of like tomatoes, anything with a deep root system. You're going to grow in a larger one. Different ones, grow bags. So I personally don't use grow bags because I feel like they dry out a lot, especially here in Florida. But maybe you live in not so hot of a climate and you can do grow bags, or maybe you're okay with watering every single day. I am not. I want to water once a week. But grow bags are a good option. They're very inexpensive. You can usually get a pack of 5 or something like that, and they're in a good size, like a 5, 10, 15, 20, and you can get them for like $20 or $30, and that's a good price for that much containers. They have handles, so they're a little bit easier to move around. My big thing is they do dry out very quickly. And if they dry out very quickly, it means you need to water more often. If you water more often, that means that you have a lot of leaches of the nutrients. Like if you're putting fertilizer in there and stuff and you're watering every single day, all the nutrients are kind of just washing right out. And so that's why I don't particularly love them, but I know lots of people who do. Another really cool one that I've seen online, especially on social media, is going to be like these tiered, they're kind of like a vertical, but they're like up staircases, or you hang them on a fence and they're just like a hanging thing. You got hanging baskets. Those are a really good one, especially if you're growing like petunias or you want to grow strawberries. There's some hanging tomato planters where you can kind of hang the tomato upside down. I've not tried that. I'd be interested. That sounds kind of fun, actually. There are so many different kinds of containers. I think the biggest thing you got to think of when you think about a container is it an annual or is it a perennial? Perennials need bigger pots than annuals. Is it a large plant or is it a smaller plant? That's going to tell you how deep the container needs to be. How breathable is it? Does it have holes on the bottom so that it drains? How movable is it? And this may not be a concern for you. It depends on your climate, what plants you're growing, whether you're kind of testing your zone or testing your seasons. I do that a lot here, so I have to move a lot of my containers. I get hurricanes, so I got to move all my containers almost every single year. So for me, movability is like a big deal. That's one of the reasons why I mentioned earlier I love those Vagos for, the fruit trees, because they're so heavy. So all of those are things to think about. You could also what I used to do is I used to get a dolly, the flat one, the flat wedge dollies, and I would move my trees or move my pots all at once by using a dolly. So think about that when you're picking out your container. But honestly, guys, if you want to start a garden, just pick up something like this one. I think I got this one for like $5 at Home Depot. Or pick up a pack of grow bags and just get started. You're going to learn so much that first year. And then you can expand your garden however you like in whatever kind of containers, or maybe move into the ground or raised beds. But a container garden is where it's at as a brand new gardener first starting out, or if you're dealing with a small space, or if you just want portability, or if you have bad soil. There's like a million reasons why you might want to start with a container garden. Thanks for hanging out with me today, talking all about containers. Happy gardening.